Hello, dear ones. We'd like to share a chant with you that Swami Kriyananda wrote called I Want Only Thee. And I'll just say one thing about this. Someone asked him once, in reference to this chant, am I being insincere if I want something else besides thee, which is to say, besides God? And Swamiji laughed and he said, no, of course, because all we ever really want is God. We just put different forms around that God, whether it's a new car, a new couch, a new something. So we do truly want only thee. We just don't necessarily know it yet.
We wanted to continue a little bit talking about perfect love casting out fear. And earlier we spoke about how if we want to work on perfecting our love, we need to let go of the past, forgive everyone who ever harmed us or wished us harm, to just relax and feel that they were in delusion just as we have suffered in delusion, and just to forgive them, knowing that it was our magnetism that drew that misfortune to us, and we need to forgive ourselves too and resolve to do better in the future. And in this moment, we need to marshal our thoughts and feelings and actions so that we start to train our minds, train our hearts to be kind, to be loving, to be forgiving, to not judge others, not be sarcastic or gossiping or ruthless or hateful or any of those negative qualities. We need to start training ourselves to be the way we want to be, with kindness and compassion, giving and loving people. So, to complete that thought, we need to also think of the future in that we can't worry about the future. We can't really control the future. I think that's part of why this virus has been so painful to so many people, is because we can't control it. And we don't know what's going to happen. There's so many variables. There's so many unknowns. And for a spiritual person, the way to deal with that is to relax and to know that, as Anandamoy Ma said, the great Indian woman saint, she said, God made the world don't you think He knows how to take care of it? And so, in that same sense, God made us. Don't you think He knows how to take care of us? We need to relax and surrender into the will of God, knowing, as the Bible says, that God's will for us is always good. And so, to illustrate the power of love and how we need to experience it, I wanted to read just a little paragraph from Shaped by Saints. This is the book written by our friend Devi Mukherjee that we've been talking about in these past couple of videos. He had met a saint in the Himalayas, and this saint was telling him about love. Look at the river below us. It flows all the way from Nilkanta to the ocean. Such a long way to go. What tremendous love the river must have for the ocean. It takes so long to reach it, but no one can stop her, owing to the force of her love. Your love for God should be like that. Patient, constant, undeterred. Like a mighty river, the force of divine devotion will wash away any obstructions in your way. Keep on with love until you reach God's ocean.
I'll just add the simple thought that, like this chant and like the reading that Nirmala just shared, how can we love what we don't know? It's not possible. I remember very vividly as a teenager and young man seeing how different actors, actresses, performers of various kinds, performing artists of various kinds were idolized and revered and loved, worshipped by people. And yet in their private lives, they were often something of a terror to be around. Their marriages fell apart. They were not necessarily very nice people. And so what were the people worshiping? They were idolizing something that was ideal to them but wasn't really matching reality. Well, God is the ultimate for us to love, but we have to come to know that reality. Well, how do we do that? One of the best ways to do that is in meditation. The practice of meditation itself gives us an actual experience of God inside as joy, as love, as divine peace. Peace which passeth all understanding is one of the ways that this is described in the Bible. And those are actual experiences. When those experiences become our own, then it becomes very natural, very organic to love God, because it comes up from inside. It's the most natural thing in the world for the child to love his parents. But in our case, we've been so busy with so many things. You know, if you sort of imagine a child that was allowed to run off and get engaged in games and playing and roaming around, but instead of just for hours together, for weeks and months and maybe even years together, which is kind of an impossible visualization, but nevertheless, that's really what we've been doing. The child would start to not really remember the parent very well. Well, we don't really remember our parent, God. And once we touch that reality inside of ourselves in meditation, then it just comes up very, very naturally. And as Nirmala has been saying, we can then refine that love. We can make that love patient, make that love enduring, make that love profound. And that's really the goal in many ways of meditation itself. So practice meditation. This is a wonderful time. Even some very prominent internet websites and periodicals have talked about in these days. This is a wonderful time to learn meditation. Learn meditation and practice. It's a beautiful thing, and it can give us that love. It can help us to experience that love in ourselves that will, in fact, cast out all fear. Namaste.